Thank you, Jeff, Susan, Carl, Yaniv, Nadav, and Jens. So the next panel, please join panelist Liane Singer from Singer Travel Group, Rahul, Jain from Oyo, that you've heard already quite a lot of them, even though it's quite a new brand. Please take a seat. Constance, Maillard de la Morandais from Accor Hotels, and Sean Manchanda from Cognizant. Thank you very much. You sit here. So can we just get more waters? And speakers, please take your used water. I mean, we are very amicable in the industry, but not that amicable. Here, the water is here. So for all the questions to Maggie, it's great to see that there are so many questions. Feel free to keep those questions. She's going to moderate a panel specifically about OTA. It's the last panel of the day. So, you have to stick with us and stay till the end of the day. And after this session, we have a breakout session. So feel free to join, meet any of the speakers and ask them any question. For the people sitting on the stairs, there are seats here. You have to move to the front. So if anybody wants, you guys want to sit or you're comfortable on the stairs? You're comfortable on the stairs? Stay on the stairs. Okay, if you want, there are seats here in the front, and you can just ask people to move a little bit. So this panel, yeah, you guys can get closer, it's okay. This panel is about the hotel industry. In the travel industry, in general, we are very traditional. I want to say old-fashioned, but the word is traditional industry. And the hotel is probably one of the most traditional there. I would say that we are competing head-to-head with the travel agents, but very, very traditional industry. And it's very difficult to innovate, and it's very difficult to find new technology and to implement for different reasons, because of the structure of some of the big brands and the franchising, because some of the brands are very small and they don't have funds. And Susan mentioned it a little bit when she talked about her segment. And in this panel, we want to talk a little bit about how do you innovate in the hotel, and are there any differences between the big chains versus the small independent, and how does it impact a startup that want to collaborate and get into the industry? Which one is a better entry access, and at what point you want to talk to Accor versus Oyo versus a Singer Hotel Group. So we'll start by just please introduce yourself and your company. Tell us a little bit about your company, some of the brands, and et cetera, et cetera.
Good morning. My name is Liane Singer, and for those of you who don't know where I'm from, just have a look at my T-shirt. I designed it especially for today, because then it would tell half of the story. So we are, my payoff line is we're a family business with big business thinking. We've been around for 58 years, and we're in a unique position where we are both travel agencies and hotel operators, which puts us in a unique position where I believe that we make better decisions all around in terms of how to act as travel agents and how to act as hotel operators. My portfolio in our group handles sales and marketing for the travel and the hotel groups, and we have a range of properties, 7 properties in our portfolios, everything from a campsite along South Africa's beautiful garden route, with chalets that we have a lease in place with the municipality, which is the local, what's the word? Municipality, everybody knows what that means, municipality, through to a luxury 4-star property in a commercial business district and everything in between. So we have a wide range of properties that we manage in the Western Cape in South Africa.
Hi folks, I'm Rahul. I'm part of Oyo Hotel Group, and this is a hospitality company which started from India, and we have recently entered to North America, European countries as well. And it's a single hospitality company which has this strong technology presence, starting from supply till transformation to distribution and everything. So I am taking care of their hotel management systems globally.
just let me add a little bit to it because this was a very modest and didn't do justice to oil, okay? Because about a year ago, a friend of mine that used to be with Airbnb told me, I start working for oil, you need to talk to oil. I know Airbnb, everybody thinks they're very innovative, but they want to do everything themselves. So maybe oil is a better fit, to bring them to Israel and look at collaboration. So oil was established in 2013.
Yeah.
13. I mean, at the beginning of the year, they had 450,000 rooms.
Yeah, it's like 500,000 rooms now.
500,000.
And growing as we speak.
Yeah, it's great. So they grow. Basically, they add Israel every month. All the rooms in Israel or something like this. So it's a very interesting. They are actually getting into the entry level, lower end of the market. They started in India. They went into China. Maggie mentioned it. They had amazing investments from SoftBank. We'll talk about it in a second. But it's a very interesting company.
Hi, I'm Constance. I'm working in a hospitality ventures team within the Accor group. So Accor, you all know the Accor group. It's 48 hotels now, 4,800 hotels now. Sorry, and it's growing very fast. Opening one new hotel every 30 hours on average. So we now have 38 brands, which is a huge portfolio of brands, including Movenpick, Fairmont, Truffles, and more local brands like Rixos, Banyan Trees, and everything. And in the past years, as you all know as well, the hospitality industry has been disrupted. And so we've decided to create this team, Hospitality Ventures team, to work with new business models company, new markets. And so we've made 20 investments in them. In areas like co-working, private rental, hospitality tech, with companies working with a lot of 12,000 hotels providing software for these hotels. And this strategy really well fits within the new strategy of Accor. Accor Hotels has just been rebranded as Accor only, meaning that Accor is not only selling rooms, but is also providing services to the hospitality industry, to restaurants, and new spaces for guests, such as co-working, private rental, and everything.
Thank you. Sean?
Thanks, Rom. My name is Sean Manchanda. I'm with Cognizant. We're a consultancy and a systems integrator. We have about 260,000 people. We're publicly traded in the States, and I am an executive with their travel and hospitality group. And within that group, we focus on airlines, hotels, restaurants, and OTAs. And I have several clients that include the likes of Priceline and Expedia, Marriott, Wyndham, Intercontinental Hotel Group, and one of my specializations is in gaming and integrated resorts, and I'm based in Vegas, and that's how I know Rom, because he used to be my client. So where we could play a role here is we have end clients, but we also integrate in core technologies into our clients' businesses. And we also invest in certain companies that we like. So it's twofold, investments, but also we can act as a conduit to integrate in your technologies into whether it's a cruise ship, a restaurant group, a hotel, integrated resort, or an OTA, and we work in that entire spectrum.
Thank you. Sean is actually also an advisor on the Innovel advisory board, and there aren't too many vendors that I used to be their client that still talk to me because I was way too cheap. So I'm glad that he's still talking to me. And one other thing that I wanted to summarize from the previous panel, I must say, after Jan's introduction that he worked with 6 different governments, some of them are dictatorship, we maybe need to hire him here in Israel because he can probably the only individual that will be able to work with the Israeli government. The existing one, the one from 2 months ago, the next one in 2 months, the next one in 2 years, etc., etc. So my next question for you, so look, we have beautiful ocean. It's good, it's good. The pay is great, and you just need to deal with one minister. So I want to know from you what keeps you up at night from a technology perspective. So especially from a small perspective, like a small operator of independent chain, from your specific segment, one brand, fast growing, very multinational, established company, but very fast growing with many brands, which makes things much more complicated. And also, Sean, from your perspective, when you look at your main customers and you deal mainly with the big hotel companies, what do you see they're coming to you when you think that they are the biggest concern that they have? And basically kind of understand, okay, what are the things that maybe technology here in Israel can assist with those problems?
So for me, there are three pain points, essentially. The one is legacy infrastructure and technology. Our business has grown organically over the years. So those of you who know Marriott in South Africa, Protea was a very, very popular hotel group that managed lots of hotels in South Africa. They were bought out by Marriott. Some of our properties years ago were managed by Protea. So when you take over a property like that, you inherit some type of infrastructure and technology, your PMS system, your distribution systems. Then we grow and we see a great business opportunity to manage the campsite, for example, where they've had no infrastructure before. So for us, it's the organic growth in our business, which has been incredible. It's the different types of technologies across the different groups and making sure that those systems are linked and that the staff are all on the same page in terms of what's needed for the group, what is going to be the most cost-effective channels to use across the group. So, and you often inherit mindsets and staff that are old school, especially hotel GMs. With all due respect, they're the most charming people in the world, but they're not the most tech-savvy people in the world. And often to get that mentality across that we need to start doing business differently in order to survive. Our customers are not walking through our doors anymore. They're coming in online. So it's communicating that to your general managers and getting the operations teams buy-in. So that's one of the things that are keeping me up. And then obviously the massive channel costs that come with each one of our bookings. The cheapest customer is the type that used to walk in through our door when they walk past a busy street. But today, you're all in the game. All along the way, there are different channel costs, and it's making decisions upon the acquisition. Which customer am I going to acquire at the most effective cost, and how am I going to retain that customer? So from an operational marketing point of view, I said to a few people yesterday, we have that love-hate relationship with the OTAs. We love you, and we hate you, because if my hotel is full tonight, I switch you off. I don't need you. But if I look at the weekend, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I know that I can just go up my commission. I go to the back end and I'll sell out my rooms tonight. But at what cost? What is my cost of acquisition? So it's that balance for us that keeps me up at night, keeping those costs down. And as a business owner, a lot of the people in the audience are from big corporates. That doesn't touch your bottom line. For us, it touches our bottom line. Every cent that we can save per acquisition makes a difference to our business.
I think very interesting question. I would like to add few more points, as Ron also mentioned that I haven't mentioned anything about Oyo. So our vision is to create the beautiful living spaces at a best location at a best available price. And I think if you are talking about the beautiful living spaces at affordable price, that doesn't make sense some of the places. And I think that's the biggest challenge for us, where we are ensuring that our consumers are able to find the hotels at best locations. And that leads to me three sort of problems. First is identifying the correct set of properties at perfect locations. That is again the biggest problem for us. Second is to create a hassle-free experience for our hotel partners with a super reduced operational cost. And third here is the most important one, is creating the best experience for our consumers at a best price. And that leads to cases where, specifically in India and China, there are certain demand polygons where we are so saturated that our lot of hotels are already present in the same demand polygon, and now demand start shifting from one hotel to another. There comes the most important factor, that is data. And we are heavily crunching data to identify different sort of patterns, what is the willingness to pay for a consumer perspective so that we can match them to a perfect hotel at a perfect location at a perfect price. Second is, as we are growing into multi-geographies and that to overseas locations, our operational cost is also rising. And we always measure a metric called cost per URN, that is cost per used room night. And these are the metrics which we are optimizing for, and that is where technology comes into picture. And we are, with the help of data and all, we are able to reduce the cost very efficiently. And third, as I said, that guest experience, we are able to find the different hotels with the different demand patterns inside a demand polygon. And I think for all these three problems, the solution lies between having a super connected softwares which are heavily running on data with a super mobile experience. That is what we are focusing on, and that is what that wakes me up all the time.
Thank you. Constance?
Yeah, at Accor, like most of the hotel groups, they were first to implement big legacy systems and very tailor-made. And so we have to keep investing in these systems to keep them up to date. And with a large diversified portfolio, each hotel has very different needs, look in different locations, different sizes, different brands or different segments. And so the big challenge of Accor is to find the right balance between flexibility and standardization because of all these problems of data. And so that's the big challenge for startups like startups in a hotel tech to just tackle the big group and be able to integrate with their systems and everything.
So, looking at my issues, I think about my clients' issues. So it's, what are my integrated resort clients or my hotel clients, restaurant clients thinking about? And it all comes down to two buckets, and I think Maggie and Susan both alluded to it. They're thinking AI, they're thinking data analytics. That's one area. The second thing that is an interesting trend that has really become much bigger in recent years is digital guest experience. So if you really talk to any of these folks, they'll say, yes, we need to figure out data analytics. Everyone's doing that. That's a concern. But how do we stand out? 6 years ago, you'd go to a Marriott because you were tied to the Marriott brand and you had your loyalty points. Today, if you look at the millennials, they're saying, well, everybody's got Marriott now. Now they've merged with Starwood. Am I really getting that much of a benefit? They still don't know me when I check in. They ask for all this information up front during the check-in process, and maybe, yes, I'll get a free breakfast or a croissant, but what more do I really get? A slightly discounted room, perhaps. So there is another key problem, is how are they relating to the consumer and the consumer tying to that particular brand? And that's in that whole digital guest experience element. So if, just in speaking, I do a lot of work with UNLV, which has a great hotel school to it. And that's not because Rom's wife went there too, but that's also an important point. But really, digital guest experience is what even the universities and the hospitality programs are now focusing on. So I would say I would break it up into two areas of what keeps my large-scale clients up at night. It's the analytics and what's happening in the world of math and AI, and then it's how do you zero into the customer with changing demographics and cater to this whole digital supply experience and captivate them and just energize them and make them remember your brand.
Perfect. So let's go to some of those questions. I mean, there are a few here. You can see them here. It's easier a bit. But I want to ask you, I read some of them, and I want to combine a few of them together. But first is for Constance and Rahul. I mean, you are very fast growing. You are fast growing, but also you go through a lot of merger acquisition. Recently, you guys bought Movenpick. You know, you bought Raffles and et cetera, et cetera. So how do you manage at the same time growth and innovation, because I see it as a big problem that brand think, oh, we are Marriott and now we bought to Starwood, so for the next 2 years we can't do anything else because we are busy integrating, which is understandable, but the world is not sitting there and waiting for you to grow fast or for you to merge. So how do you balance those two? And then there is another question for you from a bird's eye view of acquisition investment into technology. What are some of the mistakes you have done? I think probably it's more for Constance because you guys didn't do any acquisition of technology, or maybe just like vendors.
We recently did leisure acquisition. I think
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can talk about both of those different things.
So for the acquisition and Movenpick and everything, so I think growth is fostering innovation in a sense that Accor is forcing to adapt itself and to be more flexible. So, for example, when you acquired a company like Mantra in Australia or Movenpick or Fairmont, they already have their own systems. And Accor has to used to be very rigid on the systems that you can use. Now they are forced to work with those systems, and so we use switch between PMS, for example, and CRS. We are building a wide platform with open APIs to make it more easy, to make it easier and quicker to integrate with any kind of players. Should it be like, it can be car rental company, it can be IT system, it can be any company. So it's like the challenges are forcing Accor to adapt itself and to be more open to technology and to adapt its roadmaps.
Rahul?
Okay, I'll add a few more points here. So I think for me, innovation is not something which is like a milestone which is related to any phase of the company. For me, it is more like a journey, and it is more like a protein shake which you have to take on daily basis. For Oyo, I think it's in our DNA where we keep on innovating. When we started, then also with a limited source of resources, we prioritized a lot and able to identify which are the most important metrics to improve on, and we innovated over there. Now we are like I don't know where we are still. We are not a big or not a small company now, but still we are innovating over there as well, keeping in mind that we need to have a very stable products with a very high pace integration systems, and we are really open for integrations with multiple players. There are a lot of strategical partnerships that are happening in Southeast Asia as well as in North America as well. So keeping in mind, I think it's both, we need to create a balance between having integrations with strategical partnerships as well as we need to be innovative a lot around the metrics which we need to improve upon based on that. And to answer the question, I think related to acquisition, I don't see it's really early for Oyo to comment on that which all acquisitions didn't went well. So we recently acquired few big companies, and still time will tell which all go well.
Constance, do you want to comment on acquisition? Some of the acquisitions you made, what can you learn out of it? What you guys did well, you think, and what you learned that you shouldn't do again? Because I know you changed also some of the strategies. Yeah, by the way, we went to the same school, didn't graduate the same year, almost, maybe 20 years different, but.
Yeah, in terms of acquisition in the hospitality tech sector, Accor acquired Fast Booking in 2015, which is a digital marketing company and software company to help hoteliers boost direct bookings. And then in 2017, we've acquired Availpro, which is a software company, SaaS company, providing tools mostly to help hotels distribute on indirect channels. And so they were competitors, and we've decided to merge the two companies to make one company, which is called now DH, which the merger was in like end of May this year, so it's very recent. And they now have a portfolio of 12,000 hotels worldwide, a leader in Europe, in Asia Pacific as well. So it's
so basically you're saying it's consolidation to an extent, even within your own portfolio.
Yeah, and they are addressing individual hotels' needs and small groups' needs, so it can be seen as competitor of Accor. These hotels can be seen like as like they don't want any technology from Accor, but actually it works. Like
So
it
how
was one
about
of our-
acquisition, that you've made? So originally some of the strategy that Accor had was really to divest from the core hospitality. And recently you're actually a little bit more aligned with the core business, which the hotel.
Yeah,
Is it
exactly.
a fair statement?
Yeah, because at the beginning, so we've decided to invest in some new markets, such as private rental or conciergerie or this kind of markets, but without modelizing the synergies with the group, without looking for synergy with the groups. And it was really acquisition, so it's finding new growth opportunities for the group, but outside of the group. And more recently, we are more and more focusing on startups that are already working with the group to support them by minority investments and no more acquisition. So there is a huge difference between our strategy on acquisition and our strategy for minority investments.
Perfect, thank you. We're almost out of time. Sean, there is a question there that a lot of people voted on. It's not, I will let him answer it, even has nothing to do with this panel. What type of food and beverage technology do cruise liners want to implement? Because you have some of the cruise liners as your customer. But also, I wanted to hear from you, I forgot, something about the big hotel chain. How do they deal also with innovation and growth? Because it's something we hear all the time. The other day, a CEO of Curtin Hospitality said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We really want to attend, but we're so busy. We're opening this hotel and that hotel. Last year, roommate were here. Again, I can't do it because we are opening a hotel." And opening hotels, and I've done a few of them on a very big scale, so it's very different than oil. You don't open $2-3 billion hotel every day, but when you open it, it's very, very time consuming. So if you can comment quickly about the food and beverage question and about innovation versus growth when you see some of your customer, if you have anything to say.
Actually, I want to take the second question first because that has some broader implications. The bigger hotel groups and integrated resorts companies are not doing a whole lot of innovation internally. They are known, at least in the US, as fast followers rather than innovators. And unfortunately, for a lot of startups, that's a point of frustration because you go through so many presentations, your cost of sales go up, and you go into these very long, drawn-out sales cycles. And that's where I think integrators and SIs like us that are actively working with these clients day to day, year to year, can actually help move that process along. So they are putting together pools, but I would say that the investments are really going into two areas. They're going into areas such as AI and data, and they're going into the digital guest experience. Those are the two areas that they're very focused on right now. And then there's consolidation going on where the likes of Oracle and Infor and these kinds of companies are buying up. They're very focused on hospitality. Amazon, for instance, in the area of voice is innovating quite a bit. So you have to look at what the Amazons are doing as well as track certain companies, Agilysys, Infor, Oracle, and what they're focused on in terms of hospitality. That's where the innovation is coming from rather than within the bowels of a Marriott or an IHG or a Hyatt group. And I would say the same is true with the cruise lines. Now, just to answer the F&B question, we have a group that does nothing but cruise lines. And for the person that is interested, because I think it's come from a few people, I'd be happy to talk during the break about how best to position things.
So let's stop there. We're out of time, but we started late, and I wanted to finish. And I'm just cutting some time from your break. If you don't like it, complain. So I just want to ask you a few questions very quickly, and I want you to answer only with one word. Either it will be option, so you choose one of the two, or you just say it with one word. If you don't want to answer, you just say pass, and it goes to the next person. And you answer from your perspective, your company's perspective, okay? So the first one, is, what do you think is the biggest challenge of implementing technology within your organization? In one word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cost.
Global products.
Global?
Products.
Global product.
Can be politics.
Oh, very good. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. We talked about it yesterday, but I didn't know if she's going to have the guts to say it. Yes. Sean?
I'm going to pass.
Pass, okay. But politics, in my opinion, from my experience, we had a lot of money and we had all the other things, and the first thing was politics. Hottest trend in hotels technology?
Sorry, just say that again.
The hottest trend in hotel technology that you've seen recently?
For us, personalization.
Data-driven approach.
Can we get more mics, please? Thank you.
Data-driven. Data-driven approach. Yeah.
Okay, so AI data-driven.
Yeah, AI and ML is like the bread and butter now.
Okay.
Digital transformation.
The hottest trend in hotel technology?
Marketplaces.
Marketplaces, okay. Most innovative hotel concept that you've seen recently? Either that you stayed with, that you've seen. Maybe it's your own, Oyo. Anything? Anybody? Anybody want to take the first?
So we have...
Oyo.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
How did I guess? Joe and Joe. They have 38 brands you have now?
Yeah.
Okay, you can choose one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Oyo, anything?
Yeah, so I was just wanted to explain about the experiment which we did, and
That's more than one word answer.
Oyo.
Okay, Oyo. Okay. Yes.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. That's a slot machine, no? No? That's a snack.
Personalization. We put goldfish in the guest rooms as their pets. That's innovation. I'm throwing it on its head. We put goldfish in the guest rooms. If you've stayed a number of times, you live with us, it's your home from home. Here's your pet. You miss your pet. You get a goldfish in your room. That's innovation.
That's innovation. My son got a goldfish when he went to his grandparents to Brazil, and I said, "And how are you supposed to take it back to Israel?" I say, "Yes." You just tell no, it's going to stay there, and every time you get a new one. You just tell him it's the same one. Can you be both loyal to an OTA and to a hotel brand? The answer should be yes or no.
Yes.
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 Thank you. AI or AR, artificial intelligence or augmented reality? Which one is more important for the industry?
In our emerging market, AI.
Thank you.
AI then AR.
AI?
Then AR.
Okay, AI.
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 Okay. AR or VR, augmented reality or virtual reality?
AR.
AR.
Yeah, same.
AR.
Okay, we're almost done. For your company, China or the US, which do you think is more important?
China.
Both.
Oh,
China.
both is not an option. It was China or US. I'm gonna tweet Donald Trump now. Yes,
Yeah, for Accor it's China.
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 Okay, last but not least, who do you think gonna impact the most hotels, especially hotel distribution? Amazon, Google, or Alibaba?
Google.
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 Amazon.
Okay, thank you very much. Please join me by thanking the panel. We have a break till 11. When you come back to the room, we're going to announce it. We're going to start on time. Please sit in the middle so we leave space for people that come a little bit later and they have space. Thank you very much.